What is up, guys? How are we doing? I actually didn't do my season 4 official review, so I wanted to talk about it and discuss it with you guys. I was gonna do a edited video for this, usually for a review. I like to do stuff like that, even though I never posted my season 3 review, but I did speak about it a lot. But I'm basically going to do a lot of breakdown of season 4 now, and we'll talk about certain arcs, and we'll get through it together. But I'll try and cover everything, and we'll go through it because there's so much to talk about. And this season was fucking nuts. So obviously there's a lot to look forward to in season 5, and there's so much we need to remember that they did in season 4. So first thoughts on season 4. It was definitely an interesting one. After watching it more than once, I can say it's probably my favorite season because at first I was a bit concerned about certain things, how they handled Miguel and his arc, because he kind of took the back seat, but it really does make sense this season because with other seasons, when he took the limelight, others, kind of took the back seat. So Miguel has actually a big arc coming in season 5, as you know. And I think in season 4, Robby, Tory, and Hawk really, really stole it from the younger characters, the new characters as well. Devin was very good. She was phenomenal. I love the way they introduced her. I love the way they introduced Kenny, and I thought his arc was pretty good. There was people that were very mixed on him. Some people were like, "Oh, I didn't really like Kenny," and some people didn't like. Some people loved him. It was like kind of divided, but I actually think he was great. I don't think Kenny is going to be a character people will get more annoyed of. He's just going to get, because if you don't like him, you will grow. He'll grow on you. So first thing I have to address though is Cobra Kai Nation with the Miyagi-Do headband. Yes, I don't think I've said this, but I've got 3. I got my Cobra Kai one that I wore earlier on. I got my Eagle Fang one. I got my Miyagi-Do one, but I haven't worn any of them apart from the Cobra Kai one. So I wanted to rep Miyagi-Do. So as I was saying, I think this season is going to be one to remember for those characters I mentioned. I think we've got a lot of development coming for Robby and Tory in season 5 as well. For like Miguel's arc with all of the things going on with, him not getting to the final, him finding who his dad is. That's going to play a big part in season 5, and that will probably be a lot for Johnny as well because he never went to find out about his father. But Miguel's going to take that leap that Johnny even didn't. And in the process of that, I think Robby's going to go with him to help find Miguel. And I think he will want to help Miguel because he might feel that guilt that, I injured this guy and he's looking for his father. And Robby might realize he's lucky to have his father around and that he can make up with him, whereas Miguel doesn't have his. I think the fact, again, they both haven't had their fathers around. Robby and Miguel can bond with that. And also, I think they're going to be forced to bond in Mexico. I think there will be something that brings them together. And that's just a theory. But back to season 4 review. I'm kind of going into theories now. I think the ending was insane. I love the ending. I think this season was really trying to set up stuff. It was paying off some arcs, but I think they were really trying to set up the insanity that's going to be season 5. And I think in that sense, they really wanted to focus on doing that. And they've got there. I think this season, they really gave you moments for characters. I mean, Terry Silver's reintroduction to Cobra Kai was amazing. I think he stole the show in most ways. Absolutely loved him. I think with Silver going forward, they must have a lot planned with him. Season 5, of course, he's pretty much the man. He owns Cobra Kai now. He's fully the one for it. But he's going to do things differently than Kreese. You know, he wants an empire. Kreese literally just wanted dojos everywhere, but more so, Silver really wants to make it a brand. You know, make it. It's kind of like the Dynatox 2.0. I can see this happening, and also how that sets up for season 5 with Kreese, him being in prison. I'm actually curious how he's going to take that. Is he going to feel like he's back in Vietnam? Because when he was in that prisoner camp, you know, he had to fight for his life and kill his own captain. Yeah, which was kind of debatable because even though the captain said Betsy was dead, he might have actually been. He might have lied to Kreese. He might have just done that so Kreese could, you know, be like the fire and make sure he can fight him like a real man and not like hesitate. I think it's definitely going to be somewhat interesting to see what happens. And I see someone saying about don't see Robby going with Johnny. Well, the reason why I say that is because there's been season 5 set photos of him and Johnny together, and they're wearing these FBI shirts, but the shirts aren't actually FBI, like Federal Bureau of Investigation. It actually says on the shirts, female body inspector. So it looks like Johnny's trying to sneak in somewhere with Robby, and he's kind of like, what are we doing? Unless they are in Mexico City. But Tanner, Sholo, and William were literally in Mexico City. Or not Mexico City. They were in Puerto Rico filming. So that's more evidence that he will go with Johnny. And a lot of people behind the scenes, like extras, were taking photos of them. So Tanner's there. Why? Because he's going to Mexico City with Johnny. And I think he will say this to Robby, and Robby's like, I'm going to come with you. And I think Robby they might go to Mexico City in a few episodes rather than straight after, you know, season 4, episode 10. I think it might be they go in the second or third episode, or they go there and Robby, you know, makes the decision to go with Johnny. But we'll see how that turns out. But I think he's definitely that ending with him and Johnny, that was amazing closure or not closure, but a way to open up that relationship. And I think going forward, Robby and Johnny are going to have to finally bond. It brings out a side to both that we haven't seen yet. I got to read some comments though, because you guys are asking quite a few questions. I'll try and get some questions, but I'm obviously going to try and break down everything from the season. Thomasine Griffith was an amazing season. I can't wait to see Terry's up next season. Yeah. What's up, Trophy Productions? I think he's definitely got a big season ahead. You know, this is the Cry Kid free Terry Silver's back, and Kreese bought him out. Out of everyone else, it was going to be Kreese, and he's the only man that knows Terry like that. So, I still can't believe Kreese didn't like let him at peace. It's kind of mad when you think about that. Do you think Robby will join Miyagi-Do again and learn pressure points chosen? If he goes to Miyagi-Do, I think he might go to Miyagi-Do at a point with Tory, because I think Tory is going to go there and find Sam, or just go to the house because she knows where it is, the location. And she's going to speak to Sam and possibly hand the All Valley champ and just speak to her. And it might be when Amanda's not around and Sam might be really annoyed, or Amanda might open the door with Sam and Tory's holding the trophy and she tells them about what's happened. And then maybe at that point, maybe Robby's with her as well. And Robby could probably say about what's going on. And also, you know, he doesn't want to be in Cobra Kai. Maybe that happens towards the end of the season, but he might have this interaction with Amanda and Sam while he's with Tory, which would be interesting because the Sam Tory beef needs to end. But with Chosen, that's going to be pretty cool. Maybe Robby visits and he's like, who's this guy? Because he's not obviously Daniel. And he'll be like, is Daniel LaRusso here? He says, he's not here, but I'm Chosen. Maybe Robby speaks to him. That'd be pretty mad. Thank you for the super chat, JL. I thought you were talking about fight scene. I think we will. If they do a fucking Chosen versus Terry Silver fight. Do you know how mad that's going to be? I also think they are. I mean, they're definitely going to be in season 5. Yeah. That ending. I mean, Chosen gets called to the Valley. A lot of people were hoping for that as well. Ignite, thank you so much. I still can't believe it. It's been mad the support you guys have been giving me. All the new viewers, hello. Appreciate you being here and enjoy the content because I got a lot coming. Thank you, Ariel. Appreciate that. They need to bring Andrew Garfield in the next tournament. How they did with Carrie Underwood. Imagine him coming up with Spider-Man to do flips and removal with Andrew Garfield. Oh my god. Okay, not tournament, but what if Andrew Garfield is just that he cameos, he's wearing like a Spider-Man shirt or he's wearing like a Spider-Man costume and he's kind of just like cosplaying. I don't know. They could just show him as like a cosplayer and then he takes off his mask and it's him. That in itself is going to be freaking nuts. I would love to see that, but I'm pretty sure the creators will give him a cameo. They told him that I'm pretty sure they would have spoken to him and said, "You're welcome to come on." Season 5 is probably too late because they finished filming. Although they could do last minute cameo, but it really depends how they go about that. Probably won't, but I think season 6 is possible. I'm gonna do a video on this because it's actually very likely it could happen. So honestly, Ralph and Billy have said they really want him on, so we'll see. What's up, Molly? I see you. Okay, regarding Sean, that's just something I remembered. So one of my theories I said is that Robby's going to recruit Sean in season 4. Now that's probably a bit too soon based on what we've seen. I think Sean is actually going to be recruited in season 5. I'm going to hold on that theory and just say it's in season 5 because with the way things are going with Kenny, I think once it gets to summer and All Valley's done, it's he's going to come out during the summer from juvie. So as he explained to Robby, Sean can then go to Cobra Kai. Probably, he'll probably think Robby's there, and maybe this is just after Robby decides to leave or before, and he will join because of Kenny, and Kenny will say like Cobra Kai's helped me a lot, but Robby might be like, this isn't what Cobra Kai is meant to do to you, as he said to him in the last episode of season 4. And I think Kenny's going to go the wrong way about it. And this could actually cause tension between Sean and Robby because maybe Sean will be like, what did you do to my brother? He's like different now. But it's not in obviously a good way. So it really depends. I think, thank you, Bertino, for the donation. So I really think we'll see more from Sean in season 5. With Kenny, I actually love the dynamic between him and Robby because Robby's arc this season was so good, and the fact they gave him that moment with Kenny when he's like mentoring, that really showed you a side to Robby we haven't seen yet. He was running the dojo for a bit. He taught the Cobras Miyagi-Do. Like he taught them their own enemies' moves. Like that's pretty insane. So it is pretty insane if you think about that. And I just hope we do see a lot more from the younger characters because I really like Devon and Kenny. Anthony this season has been interesting, but him being a bully is good writing, but it's annoying because I want Anthony to just grow up more, like mature more. I mean, come on, your dad's Daniel LaRusso. How can you not appreciate Miyagi-Do? Like I fully side on Daniel on that. Like it doesn't make any sense. So I don't really know how to feel with Anthony. I think he will have some interesting arc in season 5, but I'm hoping he finally gets more involved in things regarding karate because I think it's just annoying then. How did you guys feel about Tory and Sam this season? Because Tory had a great arc. Tory was definitely one of the characters that I think had an arc where you can fully understand her situation now. If you don't really get the Tory character and why she is the way she is after season 4, then you need to go and rewatch the scenes and really understand it. Because in season 3, we got a little bit of her life story, but in season 4, they really go into it more. And also, just the stuff with her aunt really gave you perspective on her character. And also, Tori really does suffer and has gone through quite a lot of shit. So she gets more annoyed at Sam because even though Sam suffered in season 3 and doesn't like Tori, they don't get on, and Tori has done wrong things to Sam, but Sam has definitely had it easier in the past, in comparison to Tori's life. So with Tori, she has a right to feel annoyed at Sam because Sam has this entitlement, didn't suffer as much as Tori did when she was growing up. So it really depends. The whole rivalry really depends on Sam really like just letting Tori in, because Tori's actually trying to like be nice to her now, and it's because of Amanda. So I think the rivalry in season 5 will come to an end, and I think Amanda will definitely play a huge part in that, but also mainly Tori, because she's going to give her, I think, this theory of her giving the All Valley Championship trophy to Sam would actually end the beef. And yes, as Cobra Kai Nerd just said, the exposing Terry next season about, him bribing the referee during the tournament. Well, a lot of the Tory fights, she got away with stuff. I mean, if you saw the Devon fight, she actually got away with something. She hit Devon when she was out of bounds. So technically, she cheated against even Devon, but it wasn't Tory's fault. That's the thing. I really like Tori this season. She's one of my favorite characters, but Sam kind of annoyed me a little bit this season. Yeah, I think the writers, they try and give you this moment where you like Tori more, you like Sam more, you like Tori more, you like Sam more. I used to find Sam very annoying from the start. Just thought she was kind of instigating stuff, and the stuff with Tori, she kind of judged Tori a bit too much. Hence why Tori didn't like her. It's like, you're so judgy. You don't even know me. I remember that scene with her, Aisha, and Sam, like where she pushes Sam, and Aisha says she shouldn't have judged her. Like, it was true. I think it kind of just started over misunderstanding, but Sam really did not help situation in season 1 and 2. But obviously, Tori's introduced in season 2, and then by season 3, I really understand how Sam felt, but the whole thing with the school fight, she's kind of to blame as well as everybody else that was involved. And season 4, she just goes to this. She kind of becomes very toxic from all the Tory stuff, and she never got Tori. She never understood why she's the way she is, and Tori needed help, therapy, and stuff, and she's getting that, as she said to Amanda. But Sam's still thinking she's this crazy girl, just wants to hurt her, but it's not. Tori's not trying to like. I don't think Tori's got this self-control, and she needs to obviously mature and understand that. But she's now trying to be friends with Sam. She's trying to break that. Molly, Sam's little princess had everything life handed to her. It is pretty true. Like, she was very entitled, and again had it well. Daniel, he's very wealthy. He had all the riches, or not all the riches, but he's very wealthy. Yeah, he owns a business. Sam didn't have to suffer as he did when he was growing up, so she doesn't understand that. And Daniel's trying to teach her that. But like, you see who she's hanging out with from season 1 and all this stuff. She's got it easy. And you compare it to Tori. Tori's really like the main provider of her family, and she's technically like 17 or 18 now. And it's like, that's mad. She's looking after her mum and her little brother. And then her mum's sister is just waiting for her mum to die and then take the money, the inheritance. It's quite effed up. Season 4 is the best season, far by the best season of Cobra Kai. It took me a few watches to really think that, because season 3 really impacted me in such a positive way, and I loved it. And I loved the season of Cobra Kai, but season 3 was nuts. But I think with season 4 and the way it ended in that Ore Valley, it really set the tone for season 5. So I think based on that alone, I think season 4 has to be the best. I know some people don't like it. They thought there were things they could have done differently. But personally, I think it is the best season. I think the Terry Silver stuff itself was good enough. And with I think season 5 already is going to be better than any season, just based on the fact we've got Silver, Chosen, Barnes coming back potentially. Well, I think it will happen. And all these other characters already. We're going to finally find out who Miguel's father is, which is something we've never known. And also, if it's taken this long, it really means there's a good reason why they have waited. I think Miguel is going to have a very important season next, and I can't wait to see how it goes down with his father and just how the tension comes out, because it's not about Ore Valley now. It's about literally like the things outside of the tournament. So just to see how they go about that's going to be mad. Dimitri can be mental for Anthony. Dimitri, oh my god, he had an amazing season. I like the relationships that you see him have with Yasmin. It's just like, this guy pulled it just like that. He like went from simping for this girl to being the pimp. Season 1 simp to season 4 pimp. I said it on the community tab. I think he absolutely smashed it. And I think we can all agree that he's probably had one of the best turnarounds for a character. I think he started off a little bit annoying, but for me, especially after season 2 at the end, he became so likable for me. And season 3 and season 4, I fucking love the guy. He's such a good character. Yeah, Ben knows exactly. So I'm just really glad he had that development, and seeing how he's bouncing off Eli, because it started off with Eli becoming the confident one first, then Dimitri was becoming more confident in himself by staying the same but growing. And then now when Hawk lost the Mohawk, when he was back to being Eli, that confident side of Dimitri was there, because he'd grown and developed, and he helped Eli out. And he's a very, very loyal friend. There's not many friends that you could break your friend's arm and they might not forgive you for a very long time. But Dimitri was very quick to forgive Hawk, which is amazing. So I respect that a lot for Dimitri. He's a very loyal friend. Thanora, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. If Terry's Robbery comes to light, could they redo on the last tournament, inviting the recently age out fights, or could there be a new one? Oh, I don't think they would have to redo it necessarily. They don't need to go that route, because it would be a very simple, we're handing the trophy to this person, because whoever cheated doesn't deserve it. So it'd go to the person that lost. So Sam would then become the champion. But how they go about it, they have a ceremony or they have to redo the final fight. That would be interesting. But I think that would be unfair, because if Cobra Kai has done this thing of cheating and Sam has to fight them again and redo the fight, like, she should just technically get it, because the referee was cheating for them for Cobra Kai. So Sam really went mad this season. Yeah, I think there's people I know that like Sam, and even they were saying like, it was a bit of a rough one for her. I think I liked the fact she had a great dynamic with Johnny. I was hoping that would happen, and very glad it did, because it's something that we haven't seen much of. And then obviously Daniel and Miguel was a dynamic they were teasing at the end of season 3, or going into season 4, and I think that worked great. And I think that also set the tone for him about finding his real father, because Johnny and Daniel aren't his fathers, but he's looking for a good father figure. But he kind of neglected Johnny this season because he was spending more time with Daniel, and I think the root is really he just wants to have loads of father figures in his life, or just people that kind of gravitate to him, and he wants to evolve and grow. He's a very mature person in that way. Yeah, Ben, I was just saying this earlier on. That's what one of my videos I was explaining, although I think it was more about how the process of her giving the trophy to Sam and how she would tell them about the bribery stuff. I think that definitely will happen. I just got a good feeling of that because it just seems like the most logical step to go with the characters. And if they want to end the beef, that would be a very big moment for them both, especially Tori because she's giving it to her. Spearmint, what's up? If my friend broke my arm on purpose, I wouldn't be so forgiving. Yeah, he did hesitate, but he still did it. But I think the reason why Hawk did it is not because of, oh, this is Dimitri, I'm going to break his arm. It's because of what happened to Miguel. And Miguel got kicked off a balcony because he showed mercy to Robby. Like, if he'd not, had he not kicked, or had Miguel done that to Robby, he wouldn't have got kicked off. And that's why Hawk did it. He didn't want the same sort of fate where, he gets hurt or something happens. Do you think Miguel's father will accept him? See, this is a great question because he's basically unaware of Miguel. Remember what Carmen said? She said that to Johnny, one thing she never told her husband, that Miguel exists. So Miguel doesn't even, his own father doesn't even know him. So it's going to really F up Miguel if you think about it. Miguel's going to go, finding out who his father is. And then what's going to happen is he's going to be like, you're my father. And I'm sure. And then he brings up Carmen and he's like, wait, Carmen said we had a son. What if, like, at first they tease that Carmen lied about this, but she didn't want, they might show Miguel's father as a dude that isn't that bad, and that, Miguel's father is actually not a bad person for him, but then it comes to light who he really is. And maybe Miguel's father, if he is that bad guy, he's going to trick Miguel and maybe use him for his own benefit, maybe manipulate him. And Johnny's going to have to come to his aid, and with Robby. I really want a scene in season 5 where, they're talking together and they're just saying about each other's dads. Or just how hard it is to have a father figure in their life. It'd be kind of like when Daniel and Johnny had that conversation about, Kreese and Miyagi being their, like, karate fathers. Thank you for the donation again, Faruna. Thanuda, is that how you say it? Ravindra. Such a cool name. Season 5 prediction, Robby Miguel will have a death match. Oh, akin to Daniel Cheese and Crockett too, except it's instead of Mexico until Japan the rivalry ends. I don't know how that would finish though. Well, neither of them. Well, Miguel knows the Okinawan drum technique. If he used that against Robby, but then Robby probably knows it because he learned Miyagi-Do. That would be quite interesting, unless it's a technique he used that was, yeah. What if something happens to Robby? Not die, but what if something major happens to Robby because of Miguel? How would Johnny treat that? Or what if it's a situation where Miguel's father does something to Robby? I mean, that would be pretty mad. I think there could be a big fight I think a big fight will happen between Johnny and Miguel's father. I think that will happen. A death match between Robby and Miguel would be pretty insane. That would be a very tense fight, like probably more tense than the school fight they had, but it would kind of be like a school fight scenario again where they just at it. But I just don't know if they're gonna, I mean, they don't really have much of a conversation to even call it a rivalry sometimes. It's more so they just on different sides. But guys, how did you feel about Stingray? I have to cover this. Stingray was a big surprise. I mean, when they brought him back, I was very happy, but the way they did it and the twist, that was pretty mad. But him and Tory are going to be pinnacle in stopping Cobra Kai. Like, I think Tory will do that stuff with telling Sam and giving the trophy to her about all the bribery stuff because she should have seen that with the ref. And also Stingray can say about how Silver framed Kreese for beating Stingray up, and obviously that wasn't the case. Stingray could get in trouble as well because he lied, but I think this is going to be huge because those two will be the things that could destroy everything that Terry's about to do, and they need that help. I think then Stingray will probably end up joining Eagle Fang because he won't be in Cobra Kai. He'll be in the karate, but I seriously think he will be in Eagle Fang. So it would be interesting to see him being in Eagle Fang with Johnny, or he might be in Miyagi-Do. Who knows? He's not really allowed near the kids, so I mean, in the school he's not, but just wondering how they go about that. Any characters I need to touch on? Kevin, what's up, man? Since Eli used to be a bully, do you think you'd be the person to mentor Anthony, kind of like Robby did with Kenny? I think he would be a good person in a sense because he's gone from being that bully to now becoming back to Eli. Anthony's not even Anthony at this point. He's just this. He's becoming a bully. That's not him. Because you can see there's moments of hesitation with Anthony whenever he does these things. Like when his friends were telling him to say to Kenny through the Dungeons and Dragons game that if he wants to meet up tomorrow, he didn't look like he actually wanted to type that, but he was too scared of his friends. And there's been moments where his friends have been kind of low-key bullying him as well. But he's learnt the hard way, but Kenny's gonna be like kind of the bully now. But I think Anthony's gonna learn from Eli about all of this stuff. And I think if Eli has seen what's happened to Kenny, he might even say to Kenny, like, Cobra Kai has ruined you. And there might be a moment where Kenny sees him with his shaven head, and he's like, well, I'm glad the Cobras took your mohawk or something. I just think Kenny's going to go the wrong way about it. But pretty much, yeah. Ben, you are back in season 4, bro. I'm so glad. Ben is basically the multiverse version of Stingray. You guys probably seen him in my fan predictions video because he submitted a video. I seriously think he is Stingray. What's up, Grace? You absolute klutz. I'd love to interview Tanner. Definitely down the line. I'm definitely hoping that happens. Just trying to catch up with your comments. A lot of people talk about Mike Barnes. I think Mike Barnes is definitely returning. Terry did say he's going to bring in a friend or two. So I think Barnes, I don't know about Snake and Dennis. Maybe they come back, but he might actually have friends that we don't know about, which are new characters. So that would be pretty insane. I also think Mike Barnes, his role in season 5 is going to be quite interesting, how he goes about that. See, the thing is with season 4, the way they dealt with Aisha's return, for example, I think that was amazing. I think she needs to be back in season 5, though. I think how they deal with Barnes's return, it has to be to an extent where we really enjoy him being back. Like, I don't want them to do it for just a one episode. I think have him for a decent amount of episodes, and Silver will bring him in. I think Julie Pierce might be at the end. I think she might appear at the end of the season for extra help with Daniel Chosen. So we'll kind of see how they bring her in, but it's definitely got to be Daniel bringing her in as he brought Chosen. I think I'm just trying to think, like, with Aisha, how did you guys feel about that? Because I think the way they made her return and the way she interacted with Sam was so cool because she basically gave an example of how she could end the beef with Tory. And simply Sam just needs to like talk to Tory and actually know what she's like. Instead of like judging her, like she just needs to actually spend time with her. And as crazy as it sounds, I think she needs to actually interact more because they didn't really interact without getting to know each other. It's very standoffish whenever they interact, and you're not going to ever develop chemistry with anybody like that or even get to know them. You're just going to always be on defense. She's very she gets too defensive with Tori, and I think you'll never be able to like to fully bond or see something different in that person if it's like that. um how did you guys feel about Johnny, not Johnny, sorry, Daniel this season? We'll get to Johnny, but Daniel, he's had quite an interesting arc, trying to deal with Terry coming back and also what's happened with Miyagi-Do. Him calling Chosen, he's taking things very seriously, of course. And I think he's been a bit annoying as well in the sense that with Johnny, the whole team up stuff, if he just understood Johnny's style a little bit more and why he goes on offense like sooner, then the whole team up wouldn't have come down. And Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do were like this at the start of season 4, and it just crushed because of Daniel and Johnny. I don't fully blame Johnny, but again, he won't respect Daniel with Miyagi-Do because he's never seen Miyagi-Do in that way. And Daniel just expects him to basically join him because he thinks his style is better. It's just like combine the styles, find that approach, because how else are you going to bond? It's not going to work. So I think from season 5, we'll see that with them. And I just really want them to finally combine their styles and create one that's so much better than Cobra Kai, because they have it's like essentially Miyagi and Cobra Kai mixing together. So that's going to be pretty nuts. I think Johnny this season's been great. He's had some cool moments. I love the moments he had with Miguel. It's very realistic. Things aren't always going well, but he doesn't catch a break sometimes. Johnny had it's a cool flashback about his father, but we still don't know who his father is. I like the scene when he had all these things under his bed, and he basically was this. You could see as a kid he was distraught, missing his father. His mum said, he left us, but he doesn't know the truth with his father. He doesn't know what his father's truth is or any of that. So I don't really know. It is pretty interesting to see if that will motivate Johnny to find his father. But yeah, I think the stuff with the cause banquet that's the reason why he drinks it. That's really deep. I think Daniel put Miyagi-Do on a pedestal. In a sense, yeah, because he wouldn't. It made it harder for the students. Like they wanted to learn from each other, but Daniel didn't like the fact Johnny was, influencing Sam. But Sam actually benefited from Johnny. But the problem is now, like as you saw that scene with Tori, she thought Johnny's method with Tori was going to work, but that's not what Johnny meant. He doesn't say shit stir, make things worse. He's just saying it generally, strike first, don't take shit. But once Tori simmered down, now she's saying she doesn't want to take shit. It's kind of like the opposite now. She needs to just be a bit more take the high ground with the Tori stuff. So I'm just hoping she comes to her senses in season 5 and just tries to understand Tori at least, Do you know what Chosen said in episode 10? You know what? I've been meaning to find out what he said. But Daniel said, "Will you help me stop Cobra Kai?" So I'm wondering what he said in Japanese. But if you know, of course, like share it, because he does say something in response to Daniel saying, "Will you help me stop Cobra Kai?" Trying to think of other character arcs that really are very interesting. Apart from the new guys, we've covered that. We've covered Miguel, Eli, Dimitri, Sam, Tory, Robby, uh, Kreese. Kreese this season has kind of gone back to that, manipulated route. I mean, he's always been manipulated, but season 3, you really understood him. He had moments were interesting with like Amanda when he was explaining the whole Tory stuff to Amanda with her situation, and I liked that because it came from Kreese, and it was kind of weird because he didn't really threaten Amanda. He was just trying to make her understand the stuff with Tory, and I would say fair game with that interaction he had with Amanda. Um, and once Amanda had found this stuff out, you could see she started to change the way she felt for Tory or felt about Tory. And Kreese, I just think the stuff they did with Silver was effed up. Like bringing up all the Vietnam stuff, holding him on that. I think that's harsh. I think you should never put that on anyone. He did save him in Vietnam, but you've got to let that go because he's ended up bringing out this Silver now. And Silver was actually at peace. I think if he interacted with Daniel without Kreese, without this, without the Cobra Kai influence, I actually think Daniel would have probably somewhat would have come to a conclusion and maybe forgiven him, but not with the way him and Kreese were there, and at that point what Kreese had done to bring him back. That dynamic is quite interesting. I think the season as a whole had some really funny moments. I really liked the other stuff with the All Valley. That's a big thing I haven't covered. I really liked the idea of the cutter, the skill competitions, the way they went about the brackets. I thought that was quite smart because there's all these new characters. I like the fact they split it into 2 episodes. I mean, the ending of episode 9, man, Miguel's injury. That injury only made sense if he was to go on a bigger journey after that. If he just wasn't going to look for his father and not do any of that, then it's pretty clear that Miguel would have had quite a bad arc then. If he didn't actually go to find his father, I think his whole arc for season 4 would have just been nerfed and just ruined. But the fact he basically said he wants to find his father and understand himself more and just the truth, I think that shows how much development and maturity Miguel has inside him. So I think for that reason, his arc was good. But the All Valley, wow, the twists of All Valley. It's probably the most interesting All Valley there's been based on how they did it. It really felt like an event. It didn't feel like you were watching, this karate tournament. It felt so much more than that. The Carrie Underwood stuff. Now, I think she's really nice, really cool, sweet. Personally, I don't like that kind of music. Like the style. The Moment of Truth is a great song, but I was a bit let down. It didn't feel like the original. And I don't think the music with Carrie singing over went well with the sequencing of them fighting. If they'd shown longer shots and wider shots of some of the fights for qualifying with different music or the original Moment of Truth song, that would have been great. But I think the one disappointment, and this is minor, but one thing is that You're the Best Around didn't play during season 4. Hayden Schlossberg, one of the creators of Cobra Kai, did say that they wanted to keep it, fresh and go for something different because they didn't want to just copy the Karate Kid. But in all honesty, I just didn't think the Carrie Underwood stuff really hit. Some people might have loved it, but I just personally think that's the only criticism I have for the All Valley, if it has to be just strictly about the All Valley. That was the only thing. But I liked everything else. I liked the dialogue, I liked the action, I liked the fights. Everything was great, but that music and the little montage they did with Carrie Underwood, I just wasn't a fan of it. Yeah, a lot of you are agreeing that Carrie Underwood was a bit random. When they brought her out, I actually didn't really know her well enough. Then I realized that's the singer. And I just think, okay, let's see how this goes. But I just didn't really click with the music. I really hope You're the Best Around does show up at some point. It's not overused. They haven't used it in Cobra Kai at all, only for one of the trailers, the legacy trailer, for when Cobra Kai moved to Netflix. But yeah, that's interesting. I honestly predicted this as well because I was like, okay, Miguel, months ago, I did not think he'd get injured again, only because he just had one. Robby had an injury in the first tournament, and then Miguel did now. So that kind of makes sense in that way. But Hawk, with the way, the Cobras were hating on him, I thought they would make sure he has an injury, so he would not do well on the All Valley. But to not let him get to the final now, thinking about it, is probably quite harsh. Hassan, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. I have so many coming. I have some really awesome interviews coming up. Tomorrow I've got one I will announce later in the day or in the morning. And I will also announce the interviews on Monday. And I'll do that probably Sunday night. Let's just say one of them is in Miyagi-Do and the other is in Eagle Fang. So we've got two cast members that are from those dojos that are going to be interviewed on Monday. And I'll let you know the rest on Sunday night. You know what? They could be saving it for the final season. If it's not a tournament setting, though, where would they use it? That's the question I have. I think that song would work better in a tournament. Just bring that back to that. But if there's like a big fight where there's so many people fighting, like loads of the young students and then all the big characters that we know and love, and there's like an end game kind of situation and You're the Best Around us playing, that would be pretty mad. But that song fits better in the tournament. That's the song that it's iconic for that moment. I hated the song over all the fighting. The first time I watched it, then the second time I watched it, kind of grew on me. But yeah, it was quite random. I don't think it might grow on me, but I just wasn't a fan. Fair enough if you liked it, but yeah, I think it would have been better to hit You're the Best Around. They have to be saving it for final season again. Like, yeah, it's possible they could. If they, like I said, if they save it for the final season, if there's not a tournament, where would they place it? That's the question I have. But yeah, we'll see how they go about that. Wait, I read some people saying about Sean. Hassan V1, thank you for the donation, man. I really think the best round will be used at huge event at the end. We'll love it. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, they could. I mean, if it's not a fight scene, they could use it for another reason. TCK talking Cobra Kai. What's up, man? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. So waiting for Glory of Love. Have they not played it once in the series? Maybe they haven't. I'm not gonna lie, but I actually think they should play some music from just like someone said this. I can't remember who exactly, but someone said they should have played Eye of the Tiger. I actually at first I was like, oh, that's more about Rocky though. You don't want to mix it up with Rocky, but at this point it would work. It would work so nicely. Judas Priest in the first episode for training worked really well. Gotta say though, the score was really good with this season again. Leo Berenberg and Zach Robinson, guys, absolutely smashed it again. I'm pretty sure they'll be back for all the seasons of Cobra Kai that they have coming, because they just do such a great job with the soundtrack. And I really want to see just more remixes and stuff of the songs they already have, like new versions of Quiver, Strike First, all this kind of stuff. And oh my god, you just remind me, TCK, because there's a lot to unpack. But I am so glad Bert got that, because I was like, oh no, don't tell me Bert's gonna get done again. But he actually did get that point, yeah. And Bert and Nate, they had pretty funny seasons. They were low-key becoming bullies, but they were picking on a Cobra, and they didn't think Kenny was, you know, uh, exactly a good person if he's in Cobra Kai, because they immediately judged that. So I think with all that being said, I think Bert had a great season. I might be talking to the man very soon. Might be bringing Owen on. I'm not going to say when, but he's someone that might be appearing on the channel again. But Bert is seriously a character we've seen a lot of. I mean, he's getting more screen time, him and Nate, and I do like the fact they are growing as well and getting more screen time, more involvement. It is pretty cool to see that, and I think him and Nate kind of had shared screen time, similar amount. I've got to say one thing. I just remembered. It just kind of reminded me that whole fight with Daniel and Johnny during their little All Valley tournament style kind of fight was seriously really cool. The double KO, I never expected that. That was actually quite nuts. The fact that they did that, it was honestly amazing. Did any of you guys see that coming with their double KO? Because that was seriously so funny. Literally, I honestly thought it's gonna be like there has to be a tie in some way, but I thought they'd both hit each other, but not actually like double KO each other. That honestly was so mad. Oh my god, that stuff, JLF. Oh my god, it made me laugh because then when Kenny came in, he was like, "Junior, I like the who we got here." Do you know Bert actually turned into Bully Maguire in that scene because he literally says to, he said, "Is he gonna cry?" I think he's gonna cry. He literally sounded like Bully Maguire when he said that to Kenny. Yeah, dude, TCK, the double KO was amazing. The fight ending with a draw proved that they shouldn't be fighting each other. Yeah, like I think they just need to just make sure it's not about that. It's really just about them coming together to stop the common, work on the common goal. It's not about ego and fighting each other. Miyagi would be, I'm not gonna lie, but Miyagi would be pissed if he saw this with Daniel. He'd be like, Daniel-san, you're not supposed to be fighting for to prove this. You're supposed to be fighting only if necessary, I think Miyagi would be quite pissed with some of the stuff Daniel's done recently. I think he would respect him calling Chosen though, and like deciding to stop Cobra Kai because he would think that's probably the point where Cobra Kai's gone too far. So we're not sure if you already interviewed Sean Kanan yet. He's a great chat too. I actually really want to bring him on at some point, but with season 5, we'll bring him on. I think he'll be in season 5. So I definitely will talk to him about that. We'll talk all about the amount of times he's had to say no to people that he's not in, and just generally for everything for his return. That's going to be a big one. Actually, yeah, that's a great point, Ben. I didn't actually realize that. The crying thing. Yeah, I actually remember that scene now where he says things gonna cry. Bertie Maguire. Maybe I should get Owen to channel his Bully Maguire before a stream. I'll say, listen, Owen, just treat me, just say you're gonna put some dirt in my eye. Imagine Owen just saying, "I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye." That'd be hilarious. John called Van Damme is one of the friends Terry calls. No, just imagine if that happened. That would be pretty. Oh my god, if he came into Cobra Kai, then the only way that Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang stop Cobra Kai is if literally they call Spider-Man. So Andrew Garfield has to come in as literally Spider-Man to stop Cobra Kai. That's the only way they're gonna stop them, because there's gonna be game over if not. So that's really important. I actually think this is something Daniel has been lacking. Remember what Chosen said? Defense takes on many forms. He's got that aggressive side to Miyagi. That's true Miyagi-Do. Daniel's Miyagi-Do is what he learned from Miyagi, but true Miyagi-Do is with the pressure points and basically the way Chosen fights. He knows exactly how brutal it is and how important the techniques are and everything. Chosen is actually what Daniel will become in terms of his fighting. And he's learning that offense through Johnny, being a bit more on offense. And you could see he's learned the skill of Miyagi-Do. And when he has the offense on top of that, oh my God, Daniel just turns into Chosen because he knows Miyagi-Do. And if he's just aggressive when it comes to Miyagi-Do, when he's on offense, he's insane. And Johnny learning more about defense because he doesn't have any is very important. You see him using Miyagi-Do and he's doing like sand the floor, wax on, wax off against Terry Silver. And that shit is so cool. I absolutely love the fact he used the techniques. And Johnny is fighting Terry Silver, who's, this guy, he's a machine. You can't stop this guy unless you have defense. And Johnny needs more. I'm gonna put some mongoose in your eye. That sounds kind of wrong, but oh my God. No, he's not confirmed or anything, but I really hope he's in season 5 if they can. I mean, it is quite late now, but season 6, they've got to put him in season 6. He has to be in there. Please get him in. Please get him in. It would be awesome if he interviewed Johnny. Yeah, it would be cool if I interviewed Johnny. He's a cool guy, and I'd love to talk to him about how I first of all didn't like Dimitri, but now I love him. He's a great character. I think is there anyone else I haven't covered? Carmen this season. Well, her and Johnny, I like how they're figuring it out, and I think the progression with that relationship will be determined based on what happens in season 5. Miguel comes back to the valley with Johnny and Robby. I think Carmen will probably want to be with him, actually get engaged or married. And I think that's the point where Robby and Miguel probably will end up becoming step or brothers, in law, which is going to be a big moment because I think Johnny's going to have a moment where maybe from what one of you said about this death match with Miguel and Johnny, not Miguel and Johnny, Miguel and Robby. If Johnny intervenes in that fight and he says, I treat, you both, Robby, you're my son, and I'm sorry for what happened. And to Miguel, like, I treat you like a son too, but I need to balance you and I want you both in my life. Like, I think the conclusion is like maybe things don't work out with Miguel's father, but Johnny's still there, and Robby is like annoyed that maybe Johnny's still thinking of Miguel, but I think they'll both accept that Johnny cares about them, equally. Shamoon, you made video about Jason David Frank. Yes. I think I took it wrong because he said cameo is all. And I thought he meant he's just had a cameo, but he meant all he wants and needs is a cameo for season 4. It could come in season 5 or 6, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, wow. Could you imagine that? Imagine Andrew Garfield has a scene with Silver, and that'd be quite interesting. You're getting so close to 40k, bro. I hope you reach 90k, 100k. Oh. Do you guys think we'll hit 100k, but before season 5 or during season 5? I mean, wow. I'm not even sure. But wow, that's going to be insane. I'm I'm just looking forward to that. And throughout the year, it's gonna be fun doing more content. But when season 5's here, it's gonna get more insane with content. And the show's grown a lot with season 5. I think the show is just gonna get even bigger. How do you think Kreese will get out of prison? I honestly think this is going to go to a point where, okay, I think I've pretty much done my review because there's so much to talk about. But that's pretty much my review on season 4. I really enjoyed it. I think character arcs were great. I think just the criticisms I had were there's probably 1 or 2 episodes where I think there was some things that were a bit not entirely filler, but it's like, did we need this? But in all honesty, I enjoyed the season. I loved it. Yeah, the thing I said earlier on is pretty much the only criticism. I think Kreese is going to get out of prison by maybe Daniel. And why I say this? Oh my god, this is actually so annoying. Can you guys hear now? Can you hear me? Wait, you can hear me? Okay, I'll be honest. What happens sometimes is when I move my mic, sometimes it just goes out. I might actually need to buy a new mic. I have a Blue Yeti, but as I was saying, there was a comment about Kreese getting out of prison. Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is before I was muted, basically, Kreese is going to be in prison, but bailed out by Amanda, or Daniel was going to be convinced by Amanda, because I think the stuff with Silver, she's going to think, oh shit, Kreese is in prison. And also, I think Tory is going to find out about Kreese somehow. And I think she will be the one to tell Amanda that Kreese is in prison and Silver is worse. And that, maybe Kreese is sort of redeemed in a sense. Because remember in the tournament, he said to Tory, just do what you need to do. It's your moment, no matter if you win or lose. That was big development because he knows how it went down with Johnny, and he didn't want Johnny to he didn't want to do the same thing he did with Johnny to Tory, so he changed in that sense. And also the interaction with Amanda. Amanda will probably think about that once Tory tells her that he's in prison. And I think Silver is going to be this version of Silver from the Karate Kid 3. And I think that is going to make Amanda quite frightened in a sense, like not scared of Silver completely, but shit, like he put Kreese in prison. Like they tried to do that with Kreese in season 3, but this is one of Kreese's old friends from Vietnam, so she could only imagine that Silver is more insane. And all the bribery stuff, I think Amanda will realize how serious it is with Silver. I seriously think Amanda's actually going to be the one that maybe bails him out or visits him in prison. I don't know how else they would go about it. Like, who else is going to bail out Kreese? Let's be honest. Who is? Amanda has the money. Daniel has, you know, all these things going on. Thing is, he's not going to have any mercy for Kreese. So I don't think he will, but I think it probably will be Amanda. I just who has the money to bail the guy out? Not sure. And people saying about Dutch. Dutch basically is gonna I think Dutch is gonna have involvement if he is gonna return or has returned, but his daughter did say he wasn't gonna appear in the series. So if Amanda's the one that visits him in prison, it's either that or Daniel does. Maybe things aren't going Daniel's way. We're trying to take down Cobra Kai, and maybe the extreme measurement for him is by actually going to visit Kreese, or maybe Amanda does it with Kreese. Maybe that's how they go about it. I need to catch up on your comments. Do you think Robby will help Johnny search for Miguel? Yeah, I definitely think so. In season 4, we have 4 students with Ys, like the OG Cobras at Robby, Kyler, Kenny, and Tory. That's actually smart. Yeah, Johnny, Bobby, Jimmy, Tommy. TCK, I think Daniel's going to visit Kreese in jail, and Kreese is going to call off the bed and tell him to take Silver down. I think Kreese will make this deal with Daniel. He will help him stop Cobra Kai if he gets him out of prison. And if Daniel was like, if I bail you out now, you have to help me, because he's like the kryptonite to Silver. So that would be quite insane. And I also think that would mean the team up with Kreese, Daniel, and Johnny would probably happen. It would be pretty nuts though to see that. I mean, if we see Kreese, Daniel, and Chosen fight Silver, Barnes, and someone else, do you know that's going to be one of the craziest fights? Like, because they're potentially setting up a big fight. Because Daniel and Kreese teaming up, if they fight together and like help each other in that way, that would be nuts. And I think Kreese might actually prove to Daniel, something different. I mean, with Silver, it was a different case though, because they've been trying to get Dutch since season 2, and he's not budged. He said his scheduling, he can't make it. Josh Hill said this, and they've tried to get him back on, but he still isn't like actually able. And apart from the scheduling stuff, he's not really pursuing that. With Silver, he's a very big character. There was more room for return for him than Dutch. In all honesty, Dutch wouldn't play the biggest role. It would be like, the OG Cobras, but I honestly think he could return, but I mean, Silver would have always returned with how big he was in that. What's up, bro? My bro's in the chat. Chosen will kill Cobra Kai. We were saying this earlier on, me and my bro, that me and Shaq, we were saying that Chosen is probably the most OP character in the series now. There's no Miyagi, but Chosen is literally the new Miyagi. So I think he would wreck anybody in the series. And we can all agree on that. Technically, Tory can't do that. Wait, I'm just trying to catch up with your comments. Someone said about Tory can't do something. That's a very good quote. The enemy of your enemy is your friend. Kreese said that to Eli, and Eli ended up leaving Cobra Kai with that quote. The enemy of your enemy is your friend. So that's another reason why Hawk left Cobra Kai. And obviously all the stuff with his friends feeling the guilt and all that. So Kreese is actually potentially going to team up with Daniel, and maybe not Johnny, but maybe Johnny won't know this until he returns from Mexico, and I think he'll then find out about the whole Kreese stuff, which would be hard for him to take in. But if Daniel does that, then Johnny must think, shit, he really must be on like trying to help Daniel with the Terry stuff, and Cobra Kai. So I'm seriously just trying to imagine Daniel, Johnny, and Kreese teaming up to stop Silver. Silver's gonna have a lot of OP friends to come in. I mean, he can't be alone trying to fight all of them. He must be bringing in some muscle to help him with all of this, and some other guys. So, I'm just trying to process that. That is the fight me and my brother were saying we can't wait for. I think that potentially will be one of the craziest fights ever, and it will be a really full circle moment for the Karate Kid franchise. Like that's something I think. Oh, what's up, Carter? You're here as well. That's sick. Chosen to Hong Silver. Oh my god! I'm trying to find. I want to find the clip. I actually want to get the clip up and play it. Can you imagine Chosen doing the Honk to Silver? Or imagine Daniel doing the Honk to Silver. That would be amazing. Imagine Johnny. Imagine Johnny doing the Honk to Silver. Honk. The honk technique. That would be funny as hell. Chosen honk technique. That's so funny. That's a funny one, Carter. Do you think Mike Barnes is Miguel's dad? Nah, bro. Oh, I like the Kobe Bryant photo, but nah. I mean, I think they've made it clear who Miguel's father is. I'm not gonna say it because there was a set photo with someone, and Miguel went to look for his father in Mexico City, and there's this new actor that's been cast, and I think we can all guess that's Miguel's father. He definitely looks like he could be Miguel's father, so I'm really happy with the casting. I think they smashed that. Hog and Jade Moon, that name. That's a cool name. Better chance of Mike Barnes being Tori's dad. Well, Mike Barnes being Miguel's dad is that's a better chance of Mike Barnes being Tori's dad. I mean, Tori's dad is going to be a new, completely different character, unless oh my god, what if Snake or what if Snake was Tori's father? Oh, man. Well, the thing is, with Snake and Dennis and some of these other characters in Karate Kid that haven't returned yet, I am curious if they will. I think there's going to be a new Snake and Dennis, though. I think there's going to be two characters that are going to basically sort of replace them. I think Cruz and Trey are going to come back in season 5, and it's going to be that they get bailed out of prison, perhaps, or they're out of prison, and then maybe they get caught up in all this Cobra Kai shit. Because there's dojos all over the valley, so even if they're not necessarily local, they could still join a Cobra Kai dojo. They could potentially be the Snake and Dennis because the way they are fits that archetype, and they always get into trouble and stuff. So I think Cruz and Trey, the guys in prison in season 3, they will probably be the new Snake and Dennis. I think that could happen. Don't see Kreese cooperating with Daniel. Daniel knows how manipulative Kreese is. Kreese has too much need to see Daniel's friend. Yeah, I do. I know what you're saying, but in this circumstance, I think it's not in Kreese's favor because he literally is in prison. Daniel's come to the point now, like he probably won't take any of Kreese's shit. I mean, I think he would whoop his ass if Kreese like does something wrong, but he would probably say no to the idea. This is why I think if it's not Daniel, it's probably Amanda that decides to go that route with help trying to get Kreese out, because I think it's going to be difficult for Daniel to accept at first, but maybe he comes to senses. Stingray will be the new Snake and Dennis with Silver. You know what? Stingray doesn't seem like a bad guy at heart, so I don't know how he's going to cope with doing all this, but he's shown his loyalty to being in Cobra Kai, but he's just too obsessed with Cobra Kai, man. It's like, you're a grown-ass man. Why do you care so much about being part of this dojo? Like, you know? Yeah, Luis Roberto Guzman. I think he's playing Miguel's father, but I think it's pretty obvious because of the set photos and also location, and Miguel's ending kind of makes that clear. So that makes more sense. Any chance Kreese runs into Trey and Kreese? Ooh, that's a great point. Because remember, Cruz and Trey are old enough to go to a proper prison, not juvie like Robby did and Sean, because they're underage. He's probably going to be in that same place they were in, perhaps. Oh, bro, Frank. That's a really good point. They could definitely bump into Kreese, and they might be like, "Oh, you're that guy. You were running Cobra Kai," and then maybe he's like, "Not anymore," or maybe Kreese goes a little bit quiet. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm definitely going to be on here for like another 5-10 minutes, but I pretty much gave him my review in season 4. I enjoyed it a lot. Just can't wait for season 5 and how they do that. Oh, can you imagine if Anthony learns that technique that it was in the scroll? Because that's not even the pressure points technique. That's something else. Apparently, speaking to Watch Party about this, he was saying it's not the pressure points. Some people were translating it. It's a new technique. I honestly thought it was pressure points. So it's quite interesting. Just trying to see if there's any comments like of things I haven't really spoken about. Hawk should get his hair back and grow it. Should be green like a bonsai tree. I get it, so it's like a bonsai tree. That's actually somewhat really interesting but funny. I actually like that idea. Maybe as a joke, he dyes his hair green. That's actually quite funny. Oh my god, that's so funny. Growing it like a bonsai tree. I think that's what season 5 is really going to show, that as bad as Kreese is, Terry Silver is going to do much worse with what he can do. And it's all kind of because of Kreese. If Kreese didn't bring this side back to Silver, where he's kind of a loose cannon now, it's going to be difficult to deal with. Will Kenny's brother get out of juvie in season 5 and join Cobra Kai? Well, here's the thing. He said he was going to be out by summer. So that leaves a room for him returning. And I think that he will be in Cobra Kai at some point. If he doesn't join Cobra Kai, it's because Kenny's not there anymore. But he would only join because of Kenny. Maybe he's like, damn, like you've got tougher now since joining Cobra Kai, so he will join. But I think Sean will realize like Kenny's changed a lot because of what happened with the bullying and all this stuff. And maybe Kenny's like, not Kenny, maybe Sean is like, what did Robby do? Like, why is he this different? Or maybe Robby tells that to Sean and Sean's like, this ain't right. I don't know how Sean would react, but would he blame Robby because of the stuff or the person he's becoming now? Because I think Sean is going to be humbled when he's out of juvie, based on the experience he's had, you know. G-Rod is Miguel's father. Unfortunately, G-Rod is not in season 5. He made that clear that he's not back because he said he gets loads of DMs about it. I have to put it out there for his sake because he has been saying so. He's definitely a character I'd like to see return. If he was Miguel's dad, I would laugh so much because I'd be like, that's just amazing, you know. But yeah, we will definitely see how they go about that, and would be cool if we definitely see G-Rod back. Do you think Kenny and Ante will fight in season 5? Yeah, I really do. If there's an All Valley next season, and this is just a theory, I think they wouldn't do it on the scale of this season. I think it would be like another thing going on, but the younger characters will probably have an All Valley, if not in season 5, season 6 for the youngsters. And that also means the timeline would be the season 5 is not like before. It's obviously going to take place before the next All Valley, but I think the timeline for season 5, it's pretty much takes off right after season 4, and then season 5 will end probably, you know, way before All Valley. So we'll see how they go about it, but yeah, basically G-Rod is he's my dad now. Yeah. Oh my god. And guys, I just have to say one thing. We are 45 subscribers away from 38k. What the fuck? I just can't believe that. We only hit 20k about 9 days ago. And you motherfuckers have got me to 40k now. What the hell? You guys are amazing. I still can't believe that. So 45 of you are gonna make us get to 38 by tonight, and then it's crazy. Congrats on 400 vids. Oh, appreciate that, bro. I see you. You're observing. I'm not aware of like the video count sometimes. And I think I need to see if I've done any specials. I don't think I have, but yeah. Miguel has a stepsister. Oh yeah, one thing actually. What if Miguel has siblings that he doesn't know about? That would make an interesting dynamic. Like Miguel might feel like he needs to be with his father even more now, but his father doesn't apparently know about him. So I'm just curious how Miguel would find his father. Like, how is he going to find him when he apparently doesn't know that that his own father doesn't know that he exists? Just curious how they go about that. Yeah, Stingray being Tiger Dojo. Okay, I'll take this last question. Do you think Jessica Andrews can crack free in season 5? It really depends how they bring her back. I think she will return, but if not season 5, then season 6. Although it'd be nice to see her return. Great review, got ahead of, but one suggestion for content, please into the All Valley committee too. Funny you say that because I might as well announce it now, but I'm going to be interviewing Matt Lewis, who played Ron, from the All Valley committee. So tune in tomorrow. It'll be at 7 p.m. GMT. So if you're in the States, that's 2 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget, it'll be on the channel live. Might do some questions as well, bring some comments in and stuff, and we'll go from there. But appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you all tuning in. And I cannot wait to see season 5. So season 4 was a very good season. I think fans that just come to the series now and discovered it, go and watch The Karate Kid, binge all of Cobra Kai again. It's such a great show. You can't neglect, you know, how great this series is. And, you know, we'll we'll definitely have a lot more to talk about when season 5 is out. But for now, we have theories coming out. I've got a bunch of interviews coming out as well, so don't forget that. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, do all of that shit. And I'm going to go and sleep. So thank you, guys. I will see you tomorrow or later today, technically, because it's 1 a.m. So see you guys. Bye.